All right, let's begin. Welcome everyone to the June edition of Contributors session for Backstage. Um, yeah, I hope you were here last time. It's a conference season these days, and a lot of us are spending time at places, meeting people. So I really carried that energy with me in this session. But we are still offline. So yeah, let's wait some more time before we are in a room together. Today we have a packed session actually. Three, I think two demos, because one demo unfortunately was canceled because of a power cut. So we have some news to share, and Emma is here with me from the Backstage marketing team at Spotify. And then we'll do my favorite part, which is a chat with the contributor spotlight. I see they're still not here. They're from Canada, so let's give them some time to wake up and join the call. And then we have Jose from Six sharing what they're doing with observability in Backstage. And we have Talitha and Marco. Please wave so that Suzanne can make you co-host so that you have screen sharing permissions. And they'll be talking about GitHub pull request both plugin. And if we have time, of course, it's contributors track. So feel free to just unmute yourself and talk about something. First off, Emma, take it away.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name's Emma. I don't think many of you have seen or heard my voice and face before. So my name's Emma. I do marketing for Backstage. I'm on Jen's team, and I'm just here for a bit of a marketing update. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And okay, great. Hopefully you all can see it, and let's get started. Yes. So, okay, cool. My first update is that a little over a week ago, we launched Backstage Learn, which is super, super exciting. And what this is, it's just like a new learning experience for those looking to get started with Backstage. So currently we have 3 step-by-step tutorials on Backstage Learn. We plan to add more in the future, so keep checking the page. But right now, these tutorials are focused on, standing up your Backstage instance, reviewing key concepts and Backstage architecture, like the software catalog, software templates, and stuff like that. So I can't see the chat right now, but if someone could post a link to it, that would be great. Thank you. Please check it out. And then if you have any feedback on any of the tutorials, or if you want to propose a new tutorial topic, please feel free to email us. You can email us at backstage-marketing@spotify.com. And yeah, that would be great. We love feedback. So that's awesome. As part of this launch learn, we also released and launched our new mascot. So please meet Bowie the Backstage Beaver. We're super excited about our new mascot. So expect to see a lot more of this around in all of our marketing and community sessions and stuff like that. And the last update I have is just keeping Backstage Con on all of your radars. It's coming up in October. We still have sponsorships available. So I will also paste a link in the chat to the sponsorship prospectus if you're interested. Thank you so much for everyone that's reached out to us with interest in supporting Backstage Con, whether as a sponsor or a program committee member. We really, really appreciate it. If you're waiting on an email from us, we will get to it ASAP, I promise. And reminder that the registration is live. You have to register for KubeCon and then add Backstage Con as an add-on during the registration process. I will be sure to also post the registration link in the chat. And our CFP and actual Backstage Con standalone site should be live hopefully by the end of this week. So if you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll see that CFP site link in the newsletter, and then we'll be sharing it in our Discord channels and stuff like that. So yeah, those are all the updates I have. Thanks for letting me hop on DevRel team and chat with you all about what we have going on in the marketing world. So thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Emma, for all the exciting updates. It's like it takes 30 seconds to say it, but a new learning experience, a conference in itself. These are huge milestones for this project. So yeah, thanks for sharing. All right, one quick update from the maintainers side. We had the first SIG meeting yesterday. We had the catalog meeting yesterday. About 25 folks from the community joined. We had discussions around issues and PRs open around catalog. And it was great to see some work live from maintenance. And I personally learned a lot about what's going on with catalog. But it was so nice to see discussions from the community. So the recording will be up soon. And if you want to know more about SIGs and how to join them, I have pasted the link in the chat. It lives in the Backstage community repository. Very candid. Does anyone want to share the experience from the SIG meeting yesterday? Maintainers, Francesco, or someone from the community who joined this session?
It was nice to see everybody come together to talk about the catalog. It's like the heart of every project. So it was nice just to hear the conversation about it for the whole meeting. So looking forward to the future meetings as well.
Yeah, yesterday I attended the session. It was amazing. So and I really thank you for all the care you do for the community and society. So it was fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Asif. All right. So yeah, it's happening more often, and so yeah, stay in touch. But for the next part, I have on the call the contributor spotlight for the month. You received 3 nominations. So congratulations, Isaiah Thiasin. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Are you on the call?
Hi there.
Hello, welcome. Tell us more about you and who you are and where do you live and what brought you backstage.
Sure, yeah. So hello, my name is Isaiah. I live in Abbotsford, British Columbia. So I'm joining you from the West Coast. And what brought me to Backstage, sort of an intersection of things. I was looking for a new project to work on at my company, and they're also happened to be adopting Backstage. And we were also working on moving some of our monitoring to a tool called Dynatrace. And so I looked at Backstage and I looked at Dynatrace and I saw kind of a good opportunity there to develop a new plugin. So I dove in and had a great time. Yeah. Did you have any questions about that part, or I think you're on mute?
Thank you. That was great of me. No, plugin creation journey is something I'm very keen on these days. So, do you have anything to share? Like, how did you find the experience of creating a new plugin or engaging with the Backstage core overall?
Yeah, the experience was great, honestly. The docs for contributing and all that stuff I found really clear. I had there was no point during development that I didn't know what I was supposed to do to make a contribution. And my interactions with everyone that is maintaining the project were all really good. Special thanks to there's two folks that really added a lot of feedback that I could work on. I see a question in the chat. What was the hardest part of development? The hardest part, I think, was just developing that backend integration, probably, which didn't end up being too bad. It was just a proxy, using the Backstage proxy to a single API call so far. I'm planning on adding a few more features, so there'll be some more complexity there, but that was probably the hardest part. Yeah.
Nice. Did you find anything missing in the process or in Backstage overall?
Missing?
Something that you'd like to see as part of Backstage?
Something that I'd like to see. Off the top of my head, there was maybe a couple things like, I'm not sure if there's a way to solve this. I had a couple times where I accidentally committed without the proper signature, even though I have DPG signing on. I don't know if there's a way to fix that or warn people before that happens. But that did happen to me a couple times. That was really the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head, though.
Yeah, I think DCO is no one's friend. So yeah, I think we have some docs in the contributing.md file. You can enable a flag if you use VS Code, and then I never have to worry about writing the signed off message. But if you use the CLI, you need to add -s in capital. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think I did enable that flag in VS Code right at the end, but
yeah, but it's already
for
too
my
late.
next contributions.
The CI/CD is already complaining and bugging you so much.
Yeah, but I mean, I learned how to fix that retroactively, so a learning experience.
There's a question in the chat. What motivates you the most to contribute to open source?
So this is actually my first contribution to a major project like this. I was just really excited to give back to the open source community, and to be able to do that with kind of the endorsement from the company I'm working for was really cool. And for it to kind of intersect with so many different projects, yeah, just giving back, being part of a community like this, such a large project, yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was so good to chat with you. Thank you so much for the contributions, and hope to see you around and hope to engage with you more. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll be around. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So, bye. Cool. If you want to nominate more contributors, here's the link. And yeah, let's chat with them, learn more from them, and maybe inspire folks to contribute. All right, next up, I would like to check if Jose, are you here from 6 to demo observability plugins? Because I don't see in the call. Let's see your comment on the agenda. Jose from Switzerland. Me stalking people on GitHub. Yeah, it doesn't look so. Cool, but we can move on then. So Talita and Marco.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, hey. Do you have the screen sharing permissions?
Let me check it out. No.
Then I would request Suzanne to make Talita. Wait, you're now co-host, so you do.
Yeah.
And if this is your first time using Zoom, you might need to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to log in and log back.
Cool. No worries. No worries. You can wait. Where's my handy start the elevator music? Should use StreamYard for this as well. No, let's see. Talita, you're back. Let's make you co-host. And Jose is here.
Okay.
Cool. You should be good to go.
Ready. So, Marco?
Yes, hi. So I start presentation. So thank everyone. So this is the presentation of the GitHub pull request board plugin. And next, cool. We put together a bit of agenda. So first of all, we would like to give you a bit of background. So we will see the history of the pull request review board that we've been using. And then we'll see the first internal version and the open source that we had created. So history of the pull request review board. I forgot to mention, I'm Marco Crivellaro, principal engineer in the zone. And in the zone and in many other companies, most of the engineering teams have to look after a lot of repositories. Sometimes we're talking about tens of repositories, and sometimes it is easy to get lost in all the open pull requests. So what we came up with was a pull request board that will allow us to see all the pull requests that we have opened for the repositories that we owned. It was created by Gonzalo and the Capybara team, and then we inherited it. It's very simple. In the tool, you can configure at the team level which repositories you want to look after. And then you have 3 states for each pull request without approval, pull request with 1 approval, and then pure pull requests that are ready to merge. For us, ready to merge means that it has at least 2 approvals. And I hand over to Talita to give the story of the plugin.
Yeah. So then, hi everyone. I'm Talita. I'm a web engineer. And well, our first interaction with the PR plugin was during a hack week. So this is how it looked like it. So DX wanted to learn and get a little bit more hands-on experience with Backstage. So one of our first ideas were to transcript the PR board into a Backstage plugin. So the concept was really DX oriented, like still like no approvals, 1 approval, and ready to merge was really DX ways of working. But as soon as we got the PR, the board on the zone company level, we started talking about open sourcing it, because this is a trouble that might not only bother the zone, but other companies and other teams. So we wanted to also help other people. So our first and most important step to make it possible to open source was to remove the opinionated columns that the PR were represented. So our first, one of our ideas was to get the GitHub status of the PR. So they would be like review required, change request, and approve. But with that, we also encounter another trouble that at least on the X team, we barely use a change request because we don't want to block anybody's PRs. So we also had to adapt that a little bit. So based on that, we came up with the approved column, the review in progress, and review required. All of that is based on the branch protection from the repository. So you can set up your protection there. The only thing that is different is, so review required is when you don't have any interaction with the PR. So if you don't comment, if you don't approve or request for a change. And review in progress is when you did something and the status is not approved. So if you leave a comment or approve or request for a change, then it's going to end up on the middle column. And if the PR fulfills the branch protection rules and has the approval status according to GitHub, then it should end up on the last column. So that's how we ended up. I can do a quick live demo to show how does it work. So basically, this is set it on my local environment from Backstage. I put it some random repositories that was under dust on my GitHub account. So sorry for anything. Basically, you can click on each pull request. Oh, I have a zoom. And then it navigates to your GitHub account, to the pull request. You can review it. And then you can also see the draft PRs by clicking here. And then I also put it on the title explicitly that is a draft PR so you don't get confused. And that is mostly it. And also one thing about me, it was also my first time open sourcing any sort of contribution code or anything. And well, I must say that I was really scared at first, but my team really supported me and pushed it, especially Marco. Marco was basically like, just do it. And wow, this is what I did. And I got actually a lot of support from the community, what I didn't expect it at all. It was like a lot of nice comments and help everywhere. Like I could ping on Discord, basically ping at half of the team from Backstage in Discord to get my PR approved. So it was really nice and handy. So basically, I would like to incentivize anyone that also was scared to open source. Just do it. It's not that scared at the end. And then that's it. Thank you, everyone.
It's not so scary at the end. Yeah. So thank you for the presentation and for creating this awesome plugin. I have a question, but folks, if you have questions about the plugin or have comments, please put them in the chat. My question is, I'm thinking about GitHub projects and how these GitHub projects are now used even by Backstage maintainers to track issues and like basically have columns. I wonder if this plugin can directly use a project and maybe show it for a project, and then there might be more interactivity. Like if something happens on the project, like a new column is added, so the column is directly added inside this plugin. Just a thought: have you pondered about how this plugin would interact with the GitHub projects?
Right now the columns are kind of static. It's like just three. So I didn't thought about like a more dynamic columns. I just thought about like the status of the pull request, and also they are bounded to the thing level. So it basically fetches all the thing owned repositories and then start doing pull requests to the GitHub GraphQL. So yeah, but that's maybe the idea for who would like to contribute. Just set up your PR and then we can check it out.
PRs are welcome, as it said. Awesome. PicPay devs are amazed by the new plugin. So, well, this is a great contribution, and thank you so much for sharing the experience, Talita and Marco.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Keep the conversations going in the chat. Jose, are you around? Hey. I see you in.
Yes, hello. We had a lot of trouble because of the Zoom. It recently was allowed, but now it seems we cannot connect. So I have two options that I can do. One is I have a friend with me who could potentially show something, but it would have to be through the mobile, or I could set up a Teams meeting maybe for the next session where, because from our enterprise, we're not allowed to use Teams, it seems still, and would invite people to the Teams meeting that they can present. I have no problem to show today, but it will be, of course, be through a mobile, so we will show the screen, and it's obviously not going to be optimal. So we tried it the best, but yeah, it's not working so well. So up to you guys if you guys would like. We have a few things we could show, but it's really up to you if you would like to see it like this, or we make a new one, a new meeting, and we invite you.
Well, it's so unfortunate to hear that, and thanks for the feedback. By the way, like Discord and Zoom, there's not a lot, but yeah, definitely companies existing who don't use these channels. So yeah, it's not us being super inclusive. For now, I'm not too sure about folks moving to the Teams and then jumping back to the call. So that'd be a bit cumbersome, I feel. If you have a link, I can share the presentation and you can talk it through, and you can just say next slide, and that if that's an option with you folks.
We wanted to show it live so that we don't have something prepared. The only,
Okay.
what I'm saying is that I could show it through the mobile phone. You could see it, but it wouldn't be obviously very good, like super quality. But how about this? Why don't I just prepare a video? I will send it after the meeting, and then I will like commentate it, and then people can follow along. And if people would like to see more, then I could set up a Teams chat where in the next meeting people could go to that link, if that's what people would like.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you that video sounds amazing, and we can share it on like our channels. We can share it in Discord. So that yes, sounds the best option. I think most comfortable.
Okay. I'm sorry for the delay and the late feedback. Didn't work out for us.
It's all right. Thank you for like coming and sharing with us. I mean, troubles are good feedbacks. So yeah, don't worry, Jose. It's all good.
Thanks.
Cool. All right. I wonder. Yeah, there's a question in the chat from Jason. Is the current functionality to view PRs only associated to your team? I think this is for Talita and Marco.
Yep. So right now it's only on the team level. We're planning to also put on the service level, but we don't have anything yet. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, the reason why we didn't do that at repo level was because there was already another plugin that is doing that. I think it's from Spotify. Yeah, no, from Rodi, GitHub pull requests.
Cool. Thank you. Keep the questions coming. For now, I would like to request Taras to give a demo. And Suzanne, if I can ask you, please make Taras a co-host. Hey, there you go.
Okay, I'm a co-host. Hey, everybody. Let me just turn on my camera. Oh, that's not the angle I want. Can you all Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to show you an integration that we did. We created a plugin for a system called Humanitech. So Humanitech is a platform orchestrator. So let me just share my screen so you can see. Desktop. So it's the platform orchestrator. What it does, it orchestrates provisioning and deployment as through a single API. And I'll show you kind of what that means as a result, like when we integrate with Backstage. So let me show you. First of all, one of the features of this plugin is that it gives us this card that we can use to see the deployments for a service. So we deployed Backstage using Humanitech. So you could see here in our catalog, you can see, so we're retrieving information. So what it's showing us is that all the environments that are deployed using Humanitech, and then all the resources, so all the infrastructure resources that are used and all the pods that are running. And all of this is provided through a single API. So our plugin is making a call to those APIs and presenting this information. So now, with this plugin, what we did was we made it possible to create, so it provides actions. So I'll show you, there's a couple of really interesting things here. So what the use case is, a developer wants to be able to create a new service using a template in the scaffolder. So we created a template, and so I'll show you kind of how it works. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to say, I'm going to create my service here. And then, so what we're going to do now is we're going to, do the normal things, creating from a template, pushing to GitHub repository. And now this next step is what we're doing is we're creating an app in Humanitech. So we're actually, what we're doing is we are configuring Humanitech to be aware of the new service. And so now the service is available in our catalog. It's now being deployed. So you can see it's actually starting to do deployment right now. And so right now it's still not running, but it's getting ready. But if we go to our source code, we can see what the service actually has in it. So there's a Docker file that this represents our actual service. But there's a couple of interesting things here. So right now we have a GitHub action that is creating a container image and it's pushing a container image into the registry. And then the next step is like once it's finished creating container image, it's going to notify Humanitech that a new container image is available. And Humanitech is configured to automatically deploy that new container image. And I'll show you how that's configured. So Humanitech has this concept of, as a platform orchestrator, what Humanitech does is it allows us to provision infrastructure dependencies alongside with the workload. So, and what we did as part of this project to create this plugin, we created this essentially YAML file that can be used to define what infrastructure level resources are necessary, and then we are using this configuration to configure the Humanitech application for this service, and that's templatable. So as part of the template, you can create. So this is what a template looks like. You can create a template that what we're essentially doing here is we are specifying what resources. So if we wanted to have like Postgres instance, we can specify that here. If we wanted to, so here we have like ingress configuration, and so all of that we're essentially templating the infrastructure provisioning and the workload configuration as part of our Backstage template. So this whole mechanism, you might find interesting to know that there's something called pause. That's a work in progress. So this platform agnostic workload specification. So pause is essentially like we created a rough version of this pause thing. So pause would essentially allow us to describe how we would start a specific service. And then you would essentially like pause would get interpreted into infrastructure necessary to run a specific service. So in the future, this thing, this template that we created will be replaced by this workload specification. And then the orchestrator, like the internal development platform orchestrator, is going to be responsible for taking this workload and interpreting that and like converting that into resources that are necessary to run the service. So the result is that we were able to essentially like, so now the service is running, so we can see the service is running. And so, so the workflow is really simple. You create your template, you specify the resources that are necessary, you scaffold the service. Well, like the developer who's working on the template, like a developer on a DX team can describe what infrastructure resources are necessary. And then when the developer creates a new service from that template, it will automatically provision all the necessary resources. And so all of this is so that's essentially like what the plugin does. It provides this card and provides the action for configuring Humanitech, and it also provides the backend, because the cool thing about this is that this is all streaming, so it's actually like real-time updating. So there's a connection that we make here, and we're receiving payloads, essentially like streaming payloads over time that we're presenting. So all this stuff is streaming. So our GraphQL, our backend plugin is providing the streaming mechanism using server events. So that's my demo. Questions?
That was very live. You have a live instance and you created a new service, it got deployed, and then the plugin picked it up.
Yeah, all from Backstage. I think this is really the cool thing about this is because you have this with this configuration file allows it allows you to clearly describe what the workload is going to be like. So you can essentially, from your template, you can describe like, for this particular service, if we need a Postgres configuration, we can say like we need a Postgres resource, and then those resources are using the standards that are applied by the organization to make sure that you have all of the like the workload configuration and the infrastructure configuration are all configured, are organized, like are managed by the DX team or the platform team. So developers basically just get to use the service, applying the company's all the best practices. So that's like all of that is configurable, or kind of is all expressed in this file, but this file is really simple and concise. You just describe what your workload is, and then all of those best practices are kind of built in.
So happy to see the software template variables in there being used. It's so nice to see that you can just use a simple form and do so many things like use the template variables in here. There's some questions in the chat. What's the name of the service, Gil?
It's the service called Humanitech. So it's this humanitech.com. And it's specifically it works with whatever infrastructure provider you're using. So it's Google Cloud or AWS or whatever, and then you effectively it's kind of like an add-on to add to your cluster, and then you can use it to orchestrate the deployment and provisioning of the resources and we use Terraform for provisioning and Kubernetes for deployment.
And you have a link to the pause spec.
Pause spec, yeah. And then let me throw the link in here. It's pause.sh. Let me see, I can't see my window, my chat window. But it's pause.sh.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't see the chat. Oh, here we go.
Cool. I have a question. So I remember the Kubernetes deployments plugin, and I think it adds like a tab to your service entity page. I wonder, like, if you chose or like, why is this a card instead of a tab? Like, any thoughts around like the decision behind this?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really like rough integration. Like I put this together, the whole thing. I think we put this together in like a week or so. It was like really kind of came together really quickly because there's a lot of questions about how to do deployments from Backstage. So we wanted to kind of put this together to showcase what that could look like. So there's lots of different. There's a lot of opportunities to make it better. I think, but it's we still need to kind of figure out what that looks like, because one of the things that the Humanitech provides is ability to query resources, so you can actually see what infrastructure resources are used. So you could say, like, we have a bunch of Postgres databases, and I could see those resources being reflected. Like, I'd like to be able to show them here in the catalog. So we need to create an entity provider for that. So there's a lot of design that still needs to happen to figure out, like, to really know, like, what is the best way to integrate into Backstage. But this was the fastest way to get like a good user experience, is to essentially just create this card that calls the backend, and the backend essentially streams the data that is being retrieved from Humanitech. But I think as we learn more about the use cases of how this is going to be applied, we can do a deeper integration with Backstage. Any other questions?
I would just echo that. I was experimenting with cards and tabs recently, and I just found that cards are simple to create. They are just React components, while tabs, they come with some composability things, like you have to define a route ref for them. I'm still not sure about the whole process. So yeah, cards are easier.
And it's also easier. Like, it's easy to know what to show there. For the pages, I kind of feel like I need to have a pretty good idea of the information that people need to see on those pages. It's kind of like a deeper dive, and that wasn't clear to me at this point, like what the deeper dive looks like. So I just wanted to do the part that is going to be helpful, which is at this point just being able to see what workloads are running for a specific service, and then what services are being used, because you've got this link here to actually see the service that was deployed. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Taras, so much.
It's my pleasure.
And that brings us to the end. I would do a quick, since we have time, we'll do a quick call out for any candid questions, topics, anything from the community. Anything about the demos so far, or announcements that can go as well? Going once?
Maybe, Himanshu, if I can raise a question, if someone wants to share. I mean, you mentioned, thank you for that, also the recent SIG, the first SIG about the catalog. Is there any other or next SIG that you would like to see happening? Because I mean, we imagine that SIGs is our bet also to extend the contribution and coordinate well the contribution, and also this has been a loud voice from the community. So, but of course we will need time. We start with the catalog SIG. Is there any other topic that you would like to see happening after the first one, that is the catalog? Is there any other SIG? See a scaffolder in the chat. Anything else, guys?
Are there any thoughts about doing like a product management SIG where we could talk about use cases? Because that's one that maybe that's in the adopters. But talking about use cases, because it's a question comes up with a lot of companies. They're like, we're adopting Backstage, but what kind of things should we be integrating, like how we prioritize what we should be integrating. Having some resources and having discussions around that would be helpful.
That's interesting. Thank you for sharing, Tarash. Anyone else? Cool. Thank you. I mean, we will continue the conversation. Thank you, Himanshu.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Francisco. I was thinking about a SIG to define new SIGs, but no, that'd be horrible.
Meta-sig.
Meta-sig. Philip, you're asking about any updates on Backstage notification API. And are there any updates in here? Who knows the most? I don't see Tim here, who is the author of the RFC. I guess that just means we don't know about this. So yeah, if Tim has any, so I messaged Tim if there are any updates. Yeah, I would just volunteer Tim to comment on the RFC itself. Done. Tim has been poked. All right. We still have time. So going once. Going twice. Going thrice. Cool. So let's conclude. Well, thank you for joining. Thanks for the demos. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your contribution journey. Some call to actions, as always. Head out to backstage.io/nominate to nominate a fellow contributor and celebrate them. Learn more about SIGs by going to the Backstage community repositories. And you can find more community links on backstage.io/community. See you next month in the adopters session, which is, as always, live on backstage.io/live. And feel free to share updates from what you're working on. It's so cool to see that all the time. Until next time, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.